Imagine dropping like over 3 grand on a brand new, massive 10-foot professional display. It finally arrives, you excitedly open the box, and, well, there's no glass panel.
No plug either.
Right. Just a pile of metal sticks and a heavy roll of gray fabric. Some assembly required.
Yeah, quite a bit, actually.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, our mission is to explore the absolute extremes of professional audio and visual equipment. We're doing this by analyzing the product page for the Draper profile, plus fixed frame screen from HDTVSupply.
Which is definitely an extreme piece of gear.
For sure. It currently costs about $3,100, down from an MSRP of almost 4 grand. And we're going to uncover what actually separates a premium professional-grade screen from, just the standard TV sitting in your living room.
It really forces you to rethink what a screen even is. I mean,
Yeah.
we are so used to consumer electronics being these self-contained units. This is something entirely different.
Okay, well, let's unpack this physical reality we're dealing with here. Looking at the spec sheet, this is a 119-inch diagonal display.
It's just massive.
It is. It's almost 10 feet wide. It sits less than 2 inches off the wall, and it's totally borderless. They call it a mullion-less design. Basically, it's like an infinity pool for your wall.
Right, an infinity pool.
You can mount multiple screens right next to each other side by side with zero gap. But the surface itself really threw me. It's not a glowing LED panel. It's this gray XH600V fabric with a 0.6 gain. What does that actually mean?
So what's fascinating here is the sheer manipulation of physics. In a normal living room, a standard white screen reflects whatever light hits it.
Okay, makes sense.
But if you put a white screen in a brightly lit church or like a corporate training room,
Yeah.
the image just washes out completely.
Oh, right.
Gray fabric actively absorbs ambient room light, which preserves those deep cinematic blacks. And that 0.6 gain, it means the screen intentionally absorbs a portion of the projector's light rather than reflecting 100% of it back at you.
Wait, really? So you actually want it to absorb the projector's light? I mean, isn't the whole point of a screen to be bright?
Well, not when you're using insanely bright professional-grade projectors.
Mm-hmm.
If the screen reflects everything, you get something called hot spotting.
Oh, is that like a glare?
Exactly. It's a blinding, washed-out glare right in the center of the image. The 0.6 gain diffuses that intensity, so it gives you a perfectly even 1080p picture from any viewing angle, regardless of how much lighting is in the room.
Okay, so the illusion is this sleek, glowing, borderless window. But the reality is that getting a continuous 10-foot surface into a building is a massive physical hurdle.
A huge hurdle, yeah.
Which brings us back to that pile of metal sticks. This luxury screen ships completely unassembled. You actually have to stretch the viewing surface onto the frame yourself using this sliding hook and loop system.
Yeah, you do.
It feels a bit like setting up a really expensive camping tent.
That tent analogy is spot on. A tent relies on structural tension to turn flimsy nylon into a rigid shelter. This hook and loop mechanism does the exact same thing for the screen.
Just to get it through the door.
Precisely. It's not just about making the box small enough to fit into a high-rise elevator or navigate tight stairwells, though bypassing that logistical nightmare is crucial.
Right.
The tensioning system guarantees the fabric is stretched perfectly taut in every direction. If a screen this large had even a millimeter of slack, the image would warp and distort completely.
Oh, wow. That makes sense mechanically, but I have to push back on the business side of this.
Okay.
For you, the listener, there is a serious catch in the fine print. HDTVSupply's policy for this specific item clearly states it is non-cancelable, non-returnable, and non-refundable.
Yeah, that's strict.
Dropping over $3,000 on an unassembled frame that you can't return seems like an insane amount of risk. I mean, what if you measure wrong?
Well, if you measure wrong, you own a very expensive piece of modern art.
Right.
It's an intimidating policy, but it reflects the reality of this highly specialized market. They do soften the blow, though. It comes with a 5-year Draper warranty, lifetime tech support, and free U.S. shipping.
That helps a little.
But yeah, this isn't a gadget you try out for a weekend. You are making a permanent alteration to a room's physical layout. It demands absolute precision before you ever click buy.
So what does this all mean for you? Stepping into professional AV isn't just a matter of buying a bigger product off a shelf.
Definitely not.
It's about navigating hidden costs, the logistics of high-rise elevators, the literal physics of ambient light, and the structural tension required to make a massive surface perfectly flat.
Which raises an interesting question to ponder, really.
Oh.
As screens like the Draper Profile Plus become increasingly modular, borderless, and sit practically flush with our walls, how close are we to a future where the wall itself simply becomes the display.
Oh, that's wild.
Right, just rendering the very concept of a framed screen entirely obsolete.